Hello friends, this video on gravitation part 12 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos from part 1 to 11 before going ahead with part 12. Second law is more popularly known as law of areas. Why? Because this law stated the line joining a planet to the sun sweeps out equal areas in equal intervals of time. What does that mean? That means whenever the first law clarified the fact that the planet will revolve in an elliptical orbit. The second law stated that the area covered by the planet while revolving around the sun will be equal in equal intervals of time. That means the rate of change of area with time will be constant. Let us suppose here we see that this is the sun located at the focus and this is a planet which is revolving around the sun. Let us suppose I consider an instant from where it starts revolving. Let us suppose this position is P1. It reached P2. So when it traveled from P1 to P2, so what is the area swept in traveling from P1 to P2? This area, right? Now again the same planet will keep revolving. It will come to some other point, let us say P3. Again it will keep going and it will reach some point, say P3, and again it will go on and on. So again in this case, for when it traveled from P3 to P4, the area covered is this area. So according to the second law, it says that the area traveled in moving from P1 to P2, let us suppose this time taken to go from P1 to P2 is delta t. Again time taken from going from P3 to P4 is again delta t. So the area traveled in this case will be equal to the area traveled from P3 to P4. That means in equal intervals of time, it will travel, it will cover or it will sweep out equal areas. So that was what was proposed in the second law, and that is why this law was known as the law of areas, because this law talked about the areas covered by the planet while revolving around the sun. Let us suppose that the position and momentum of the planet is denoted by r and p respectively. R is for position and p is for momentum. Right. Now, what would be the area covered by the planet in time delta t? As you can see here, I say that the planet moves from P1 to P2 in time delta t. So what would be the area covered by the planet in this time? That means what is this area? So let us denote that by delta A. So this area will be half into r, where r denotes the position of this planet, as I already told. So half into r into the distance which it travels here. Right. Now let us say that the velocity of the planet is v. If the velocity of the planet is v, then this distance which it travels from P1 to P2 in time delta t will be v into delta t. So this would be v into delta t. So we can say that the area traveled, that is this area, would be equal to half into r into v into delta t. So we are using simple mathematics here. So from this we can say delta A by delta t is equal to half r cross v, because we are dealing with all vectors. These are all vector quantities. Right? Now this we can write as, we already know that momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Right? So we can say velocity is nothing but momentum divided by mass. So if we do that, mass being a constant quantity, it will come out. So this would be r cross p. Now what is r cross p? That is the cross product of the position vector and the momentum vector, that is nothing but L, where L is the angular momentum. So L is the angular momentum. When I talk of P, P is the linear momentum. So this is L by 2m. Now L by 2m is equal to constant for any central force. What is a central force? Any force which is directed towards the center. So in this case also, when the planet is moving around the sun, the force which is acting on the planet is towards the sun. So that is a central force. So for any central force, the total angular momentum remains constant. The angular momentum for any central force is constant. So that is a basic principle. So using that, we find that delta A by delta T is equal to constant. That means the area covered with time is equal to constant. That is, equal areas will be covered in equal intervals of time, and that is what the second law states. So we'll quickly review this derivation once again. Let us suppose this is the sun. This is the position of the sun, and let us suppose any planet was initially at P1. It traveled a distance and reached P2 in time delta t. So how much distance did it cover along this path? It is v into delta t, if v is the velocity of the planet. Let us suppose the position is denoted by r. So what would be the area covered from P1 to P2? It would be half into r into v delta t, right? We know that linear momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. So we replaced velocity with P divided by m. So from there we found that delta A by delta T, that is rate of change of area with time, is equal to L by 2m, where L is a constant for any central force. Therefore, we observe delta A by delta T is constant. That is, equal areas will be traversed in equal intervals of time. So we covered Kepler's first law and second law. Now we'll go ahead and see what does Kepler's third law state. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.